Welcome back to the Gobby Gaffer. I haven't switched my PC on for about 2 weeks now. Some very sad news. My younger brother, who was only 58, died 2 weeks ago from cancer. Now, he was a brilliant man. He was an amazing dad. He was an amazing granddad and brother. If you're new around here, I'm a big Manchester City fan, as was my brother. We've both been City fans since, well, as far back as I can remember. You know, both of us started going. My dad started taking us both when we were at Main Road. And our football chats were quite legendary. It was well known for us to be on the phone 2 or 3 hours just talking about football and music and the things that we loved in life. For many, many things, including that, he will be very, very sadly missed. Fortunately, I was with him on the day that we won the Champions League final, and that is the last memory that I had of him. If I have to say it, it's a great memory to have, and it is a very, very sad time. And I would like to dedicate this episode in his memory. So, Ian, this one's for you. Okay, so it's part 17 of this Grassroots to Goal Boots Journeyman series, starting with Rochdale AFC. And if you remember, in the last episode, we actually got promoted from Sky Bet League 2 into Sky Bet League 1. And, well, we have the trophies on the wall here to prove it. Of course, the beginning objective of this journeyman save is to get Rochdale into the promised land, which for them is the championship. Yep, Rochdale AFC have never actually been there before in the whole history. They've never been in the championship, and that is my it's my beginning target. Let's see what we can do. But before we get into the new season, let's just have a look at one or two things that have happened through the summer. Just a little look at the new arrivals. Not much to write home about as far as average ratings go. Tyrese Francois was the star signing of the season. Came in from Fulham. 7.03 average rating overall, which, let's face it, is not amazing. And we don't have any other players with green ratings over the season. But obviously the team that I put together worked very, very well collectively. There was sometimes it's quite nice not to have a standout performer, but have a standout performer is the whole team gelling. And I think that's what actually happened because, as you know, we won the league. So have a quick look at the accolades. Now I'm just going to run down the categories here. Fans Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season, Goal of the Season, Top Goal Scorer. Most Player of the Match awards, most overall goals by a player in the season, most Player of the Match awards in a season, and the fastest goal. Yes, all of them won by one person, Tyrese Sinclair. There were question marks of whether he could step up. Can he step up again into the championship? Let's hope he can. I think he can. Nobody wants him, which is very, very odd. And the other awards were won mainly by Tyrese Francois, but, actually, Tyrese Sinclair didn't leave too many for him. And no surprise, as Tyrese Sinclair is named as the League 2 Player of the Season. 37 appearances, 32 goals and 3 assists. A Top Goal Scorer award? Yes, you guessed it again. Tyrese Sinclair, top of the shop. Josh Davidson, AFC Wimbledon, came second, and Paul Mullin at Wrexham came third. But what a season Tyrese Sinclair's had. And off the field, well, the finances are going in the right direction. Sponsorship stayed kind of even, if you will, 366,000. Broadcast revenue, however, was up massively, from 26,000 to 343,000. Corporate and hospitality up from 124,000 to 206,000. Competition prize money up from 30,000 to 136,000. And a matchday commercial and retail slightly up to 456,000. And 4 of our players managed to elbow their way into the team of the season. So we have Bernard, the right back, the young kid Oscar Kelly, Kadra Simmons, and of course Tyrese Sinclair. You're going to get fed up with me calling his name. Needless to say, the one thing that I've been kind of shouting from the rooftops is the capacity of the stadium is 10,000. I think the best home crowd we had last season for a league game was about 6,500, so we're still not filling the stadium. However, Simon, our chairman, has decided to put ticket prices up, so the average ticket price now has gone up from £16 to £19. That's an 18% increase, so hopefully that should generate a little bit more revenue. The average season ticket price is up by 14% from £164 to £188. However, they are projecting yearly earnings to drop by 40%, which is not great. Last season it was 2.41 million, projected for this season 1.44 million. And well, a little shout out here for the Gobby Gaffer. Yep, claimed the League Two Manager of the Season, and 46 matches with a win ratio of 58%. A little bit disappointed with that. I thought it might have been a little bit higher, but anyway, I'll take it. Manager of the season. And with that, let's get stuck into the new season. And yes, I have played a few games. If you watch my channel regularly, you know I do like to try and get up to the end of the transfer window so that I can show you all of the new signings that have been made. That's if there have been any new signings. But so I have played a few games and we're doing okay. I mean, you know, the board requirement, I think, this season. In fact, let's have a quick look what the board requirement is. So as you can see there, work within the wage budget. More about that shortly. But yeah, we are struggling to work within the wage budget. Grow the club's reputation. They're pleased about that. Attempt to avoid relegation from Sky Bet League One. So as long as we avoid relegation, then as far as the board are concerned, and my friend Simon, then, well, that'll be progress. However, I would like to do better than that. So mid-table, top half of the table would absolutely be brilliant. That's if we can achieve it. And what do the media think that we're going to do? Well, you have to work your way right down to the bottom. Yeah, they think we're going to get relegated. I'm not sure if the third place is a relegation. I'm not quite sure, but they think we're going to finish 22nd. We're 101 to finish third from bottom. And one of the reasons I think it is going to be a very difficult season this season, although we did manage to comply with FFP last season and win the league. However, I think Sky Bet League One will be a different kettle of fish. The FFP rules for Sky Bet League One are the wage expenditure has not got to go over 53k. So it has been increased, which is obviously it's helped me massively. But when we have a look in a second at what other teams are spending, you'll see that it's not great. However, at the moment we are spending 52,000, although we are overspending our wage budget as far as the board are concerned. And obviously because that the FFP rules don't include the under 21 players, then obviously they are included in the finances that the board are looking at. We've got a wage budget of 61,000 and we're committed spending is about 64,000 at the moment. You will notice there's a transfer budget in there of 400,000. We have just sold a player, so I probably will juggle that around. Whether it will give me the extra 4,000, I'm not quite sure, but we'll be having a look at that. 472,000 in the bank, not absolutely amazing. As you can see, we were down to 72,000 in the bank before I just sold that player. So finances not looking great. And just to put a little bit of meat on the bones, here's the kind of league table for the salary per annum. Watford, top of the shop, 20.63 million. And they are described as a rich club. We do have to scroll a way down, however, to find Rochdale. Rochdale, 2.62 million, and our finances are just okay. And likewise, if we have a look at a net transfer spend, Notts County, top of the shop. And once again, we do have to scroll right down to 18th place to find Rochdale. Yes, I have done some transfers, but I think they've all been free transfers. And before we get into those transfers, one thing I would like to say, particularly to new players of the game, is that Obviously, the backroom staff do an awful lot of work for you. You know, you've got scouts going out and recommending players. You get star ratings offered to you for players, particularly for players that, you know, are in your team. And that is all, it's all kind of relevant to your squad. So, you know, you might have a young player who's maybe, say, a 3-star with the potential to be 5. But if you go out and buy in a 4-star striker with the potential to be 5, then all the ratings kind of drop down slightly, and it's all relative to the ratings in your team. And of course, one of the staff members who gives you this information is your assistant manager. Now, I have quite a few of my staff members, you know, medical, scouting, coaching staff. Quite a few of their contracts came to an end, so I went out there and I brought some new staff in, better staff. I'll just show you in a second, but again, coaching. We are top of the shop for coaching in Sky Bet League One. You know, if you've been watching the channel a long time, Gobby Gaffer, I like those bar charts to be as high as they possibly can. So I've done a good job again. And my assistant manager's contract came to an end. So he was the one who was here when I joined. Obviously, I had to keep him on because we couldn't afford to kind of terminate his contract or anything. But when I had a look, so the attributes for an assistant manager, people management, judging player ability and judging player potential. He was a 3 for ability and a 3 for potential. And he is one of the major staff members who is recommending to me, particularly like young players who are coming in. Oh, this kid, yeah, he's a 2.5-star with the potential to be 5. Now, I did tell you I'd brought in some of the young players who were released by Premier League clubs. When they actually arrived, most of them having, you know, the assistant manager saying they were 5-star potential, most of them came in with only 3-star potential. That will, again, like I say, that will be dictated by moving up a division, bringing new players in. But the assistant manager is one of the key ones. So we've signed Pau Marti. And he, as you can see, has got very, very good stats. He can do a bit of coaching. He's very, very good at judging player ability and potential. Brilliant at people management. So assistant manager wise, and like I say, for new players, this is an area that you kind of need to look at. Because I know Football Manager, there's lots of things to look at. But there are key areas where, you know, if you're relying on your staff to tell you which players are good and bad, star rating wise, then these are the things you have to get sorted out, because that will help you in progressing in the game. And here we go again. Our coaching staff are, I have asked for new staff. I've asked for new training facilities, didn't get them. I have asked for more staff, they wouldn't give them to me. I'm not surprised, because our finances are pretty dire, and the only way that that's going to improve is by going on good cup runs and you know, finishing in a decent position in better leagues. But we're working on it. Whether I'll have the time to be able to do all that, I don't know. But as you can see, coaching there in Sky Bet League One, we have the best coaching staff in the league, which going forward is absolutely brilliant. So let's get stuck into some transfers, shall we? Quite a few of the players that I had, that Cheggers, for instance, quite a few of the players were out of contract. I didn't see any point in giving them new contracts, so I just let the contracts expire, and I brought players in to replace them. Couple of the young lads, Victor Musa, I think he came in on I've just been talking about the young players released from the Premier League teams. I think he came in from Manchester United, and he's a striker. He's actually gone out on loan to get a bit more experience to Kidderminster. Jack Morehouse, I've got a lot of high hopes for Jack Morehouse. I think he will become a very, very good player. However, I have signed a lot of midfielders. So Dudziak, Morehouse, going out on loan, Kevin De Santos, all young players. They're all going to get some experience, and then hopefully, going forward, that will do us really well. George Nevitt. Now, George Nevitt was one of the young kids who was coming through at stages last season. He was a 3-star with the potential to be 5. he played a lot of games last season at left wing back, and I thought going forward, he's the lad for us. He's going to be absolutely brilliant. However, as you know, last season we were bound by the FFP rules, and we only had about £1,000 to spare a week. I think it was something like that. George Nevitt knocked on my door and he said, right, boss, I'm absolutely brilliant, you know, great potential, want a new contract. I think he was on about £500 a week, something like that, which is fine, that's fair dues, but I didn't have a lot of money to spare. So anyway, he came in with a ridiculous wage demand. I can't remember what it was now. So I kind of knocked him back. And I thought, well, okay, let's try and get promoted next season. Hopefully I can give him that contract that he needs. But he had a major grumpy on then, upset in the dressing room. Everything was going a bit pear-shaped. So I thought, right, okay then, let's draw a line under this one. He's a player I had high hopes for, but this is unreasonable. So I ended up selling him to Ipswich, and that's that 400,000. He's just actually gone. So at left back now, we are a little bit light, although I have shuffled things around a bit. I'll show you that very shortly. So let's have a quick run through. They're all free transfers. I've not paid any money for any of these lads. So the first one is a 28-year-old Sam Lavelle, centre-back, right-footed centre-back. Again, I'm not going to read stats out for you. You can all read those. He actually comes in as potentially the best centre-back at the club. Although Belongo and Shering have got more potential than he has, but he brings a lot of experience to the defence. And next is 21-year-old Jay Turner-Cook. Very useful lad, can play right through the middle, he can play striker, either wings, as you can see. Again, very, very good stats. He comes in as the best player as an attacking mid, and we are playing with that attacking mid still. So he's been out injured for a good few weeks. He came in, got a knock. He was out for like three or 4 weeks, I think. So I've not seen an awful lot of him up to now, but I think he will be a very good signing for us. So sensing a bit of a theme, yeah, I've signed quite a few midfield players because we are playing we have got wingers on the pitch, but I do need a lot of rotation in the midfield because essentially I've got you'll see in a minute when I show you the tactic. But a 25-year-old Raheem Harper comes in, 3-star with not a lot of potential. He comes in as a 4th best midfielder, but then we do need a lot of backup because, as you've seen, there's a lot of games to play. All of this Bristol Street Motors malarkey, Caribou Cup, FA Cup. There's lots of league games, so we do need some good rotation. A 22-year-old Jack Inchy, and he's a 3-star with the potential to be a 3.5-star. Again, reasonable stats for that centre midfield area. He can get his foot in, but he can pass a ball as well. So he's been getting quite a bit of game time. And of course, we do need to keep Tyrese Sinclair on his toes. So I've signed a striker, but he can play on the wings as well. So I'm getting a lot of versatile players in, which is great for the squad. So Fabio Tavares, 24-year-old Portuguese lad. He's not started too many games yet. He was a bit of a slow starter. I did play him a couple of games and didn't do particularly well. But he's got to find his feet yet. And I think we have got a half-decent player here in Fabio Tavares. Goalkeeper, it's a whole other story if I'm honest. And obviously last season we had major problems with our backup keeper who, to be fair to him, he was a good keeper. But I kind of selected my first choice keeper and then he got a bit left out, got very grumpy. So I sent him out on loan last season and he's actually left the club now. So going into the beginning of the season, we only had one first choice keeper and there was a youth player on the bench. So I've done a little bit of work in the goalkeeping department, and we brought a young kid in here, a 21-year-old Eddie Beach. He's 6'5", so as you would expect, aerial reach is brilliant. We do need to work with him an awful lot, but at least we've got somebody now who is 2.5 star with the potential of 3.5. As you can see there, Lewis Thomas, 2.5 star with the potential to be 3. So potentially Eddie Beach could be better than him, but obviously we'll have to see. And on the deadline day, we brought in 22-year-old Dominic Corness. I think this lad will be very, very good for us. Once he's settled in, he's coming in as, well, actually, he's coming in over and above Jay Turner-Cook as the best midfielder at the club. And he's a very creative player, as you can see the stats there. But he can play a little bit further back and play as like a DLP a little bit further back, which, you know, we may well use him as. So left-footed, another one of those essential things in the team. You do need some left footers, and good left-footed players in Football Manager are not easy to find. So this is what we're going in with at the moment, with 2 DLPs in there. So we've got Inchit and Gilligan playing in there. One's a DLP, one's a ball-winning midfield player. But as I've just shown you, we've got plenty of strength in depth now for that midfield area. So we've got players who can put the foot in. We've got players who can create. Goalkeeper, I think, is an area where we are still a bit weak, but of course I'm having to comply with FFP, and again it's biting me a bit. I have to say, I've shown you the finances, and it's going to be a tough season. This, I'm going to be upfront. It's going to be a very, very tough season. But we've got Thomas in goal. He was our keeper last season, did okay for us. We've only got the young kid Eddie Beach on the bench, although he has got a lot of potential. He is wanted at the moment to go out on loan, but he's not going anywhere. The one problem area I've got now with Nevitt going is this left wing back area. So what I've decided to do, Belongo, who I've been playing at centre back, he's 6'2", but he's very left footed and can play in that left wing back role. And he's got pace and acceleration, so he can play in that role. In fact, it's actually his preferred role. So I'm playing Belongo out there at the moment. We have Lewis Baines, who we had last season as well. He's left forward. He can play out there. So, and we've also brought in Cameron Ismail, was one of the young kids, again, came from the Premier League on a free transfer. And he's a 2-star with the potential to be a 5, so he's got some great potential. We have got some quite good cover out there, having shuffled things around. And I think the way that I've done it now should actually do us quite well. Centre-back, obviously, we've actually got Shering, we've got Graham, we've got the new lad Lavelle. But if we do get any problems, we can also drop Belongo or Baines in there. I'm getting a lot of strength in depth now. This is one of the kind of the really kind of good moments in Football Manager where you start to build your own team. You're not relying on the previous person's staff. You're not really relying on their players. You can actually set your own tactic, your formation, your instructions, and you've actually got players on the pitch who can do the job for you. And we've got strength in depth in all positions. So as you can see, we had a very good pre-season. I don't like to put too much pressure on my players in pre-season. So they were all quite, the teams were quite weak. But it's just to get the new players into the tactic, the formation, get them into my playing style. So we had a very good pre-season. First game of the season was away at Huddersfield. Huddersfield are predicted to be promoted this season. So a 0-0 at Huddersfield was a very good result. We played a 4-2-3-1 in that one. I decided to go back to what we were playing last season, which was an asymmetric 4-1-1-3-1 tactic. And against Bradford in the Carabao Cup first round, we actually got knocked out on penalties, which is Bradford City are in our division and are kind of on par with us. We didn't play particularly well. And again, we played the same formation against Portsmouth, the 4-1-1-3-1. Tyrese Sinclair, who else, scored in the 85th minute, and we got a point in that game. At home, not the greatest of results, but you do have to kind of bear in mind we have to kind of learn to live with this league now. So maybe a 1-1 at home against Portsmouth is a good result. However, then we played Fleetwood. It was away from home, and I did change again to a 4-3-3, and we got beaten that one 2-0. Not the greatest of results. So I threw a couple of friendlies in. We beat Bamber Bridge and Scarborough Athletic and scored some nice goals past them. In between that, we had a home game against Wickham, and I went to the tactic I've just shown you, the 4-2-3-1. And at home, again, it was a 1-1. And Thierry Francois this time scored in the 65th minute. I think we were losing in that game as well. So we got a 1-1 in that game. And at that point, we were just hovering above the relegation area. But then we played Charlton. Just, bring your attention to the attendances here. 5,800 in for that game. Not ideal, really. And going forward, I can see maybe this is an area where Rochdale are suffering. The local population don't seem to kind of come in the numbers, pay the money through the turnstiles. Maybe they can't afford it. I don't know. But we do need to be filling that ground to get the money in. Anyway, like I say, I digress. So a nice 4-1 win against Charlton. And, going forward, if we can start putting a few wins on the board, then that will be absolutely brilliant. We're in this Bristol Street Motors Malarkey Trophy. Leeds under-21s, a nice 3-0 win against Leeds under-21s. I would expect to beat them. So this 4-2-3-1 at the moment seems to have us on a little bit of an upward trajectory. I mean, we're going to need that to, stay on an upward trajectory. So the league table at the moment has us in 16th place. We've played 5 games. We only have 6 points. I would like that average to step up a little bit. The average at the moment is, as you can see there, it's just over a point a game. We need to start stepping that up a little bit, maybe 1.5 points a game, 2 points a game, something like that, to get us up into, like Birmingham, Charlton, MK Dons there. MK Dons, I mean, we've got to play them this season. They were a thorn in our side last season, but we need to get up into those positions. And there's 2 go up automatically. As you can see there, Fleetwood, who beat us, are top at the moment. Huddersfield are in 2nd place. We've got a nice 0-0 draw against them. And then there's 4 teams then go into the playoffs. So can we hit the playoffs? I don't know. At this moment in time, I'm trying to work out my best 11. So I do want to try and play a game today. And, we have an away game against Exeter. So let's cut all the waffling. As interesting as it has been, well, I think it's interesting anyway. As interesting as it's been, let's cut the waffling. Let's watch a bit of football. Let's go away to Exeter and see how this team performs. We'll see you in the dugout. Well, welcome along to St James Park here in Exeter for this. They're all going to be important games this season. The cups are going to be semi-important financially. If we can get a little bit of a cup run going, financially great. But we do need to stay in this division, and we need to start climbing and try and get into that championship. It is going to be very, very, very tough to do it. However, this is the team that we're going to go with. Now, you've just noticed there, Janiel Bennett is injured again. Janiel Bennett is done. I have tried to sell him. Obviously, he's injured, so nobody's interested in him. I've tried to sell him before. He's a very injury-prone player. It's a shame because he's a great right winger, but... So, Kedra Simmons is playing on the right today, who is having a right moan and a groan at the moment because he's not in the team enough, as is Gilligan, the DM. He's having a right moan and groan. They did play in the last game, but they're still complaining. Okay, the team for today is Thomas in goal, back 4 of Balongo now in his new left wing back role. Shering and Graham are the centre backs. Kyle John is playing the wing back on the right hand side. We have the new DLP Corness next to Gilligan. Oscar Kelly's on the left. Simmons on the right. Turner Cook, the new lad who's going to play the attacking midfielder today, can push forward as a shadow striker. So that'll be interesting if we need that. And who else but Tyrese Sinclair up top. And we're underway. So Exeter are 1 point better off than us at the moment. They've not had the greatest start to the season, but hopefully we can turn them over today. And we have had a shot that was on target, so we are hitting the ground running, if you were. Just going to give them a little bit of encouragement, moving up to the half-hour mark. So the first highlight goes to Exeter. Cox throws a corner in there, and that's headed just wide of the post. 40 minutes now, not an awful lot gone on in this first half. Ball's headed over there, and my keeper there makes an absolutely point-blank save. Absolutely brilliant to keep us in the game. But Exeter finished the half now on 5 shots and 3 on target. So it's a difficult one now, isn't it? I mean, generally I would have said it's not good enough, absolutely unacceptable. We do have to realise we're in a higher league now, playing better opposition. The assistant, my new assistant, is recommending, I'm proud of everyone's efforts, keep going and we can win this. So I think I'm going to go with him, and that's returned no response from the players, which was obviously the wrong thing to say. So I'm gonna actually give them a talk. I'm gonna say I'm delighted with your defensive work, happy with your playmaking efforts, and I'm happy with your efforts in the final third. And just making a little tactical change. So Turner Cook is now playing as a shadow striker. So let's see if we can turn it on a little bit more in the second half. 65 minutes, couple of changes. I pushed Corness a little bit further forward just to try and get us a little bit more on the front foot. And Hilton and Tavares have come on. And the Simmons not having a good game. It's always amazing. I find it amazing with Football Manager how they have players complaining like mad, and yet their ratings are really poor. So Simmons, who wants to be on the pitch, wants to be playing games, he's having a really poor game today. And unfortunately, Jay Turner Cook, who was the new lad who I've got high hopes for, again having a poor game. So Hilton comes on as shadow striker. So the changes do seem to have made a little bit of an effect on the team. We have now had 5 shots, 3 on target. So we are equaling what Exeter are doing. But obviously, Exeter are the home team. They've got the fans behind them. And as we can see here, we are being pinned back a little bit. But the ball picked up there by Bolongo now in his new role, and that's a very, very poor ball forward. 81 minutes, more changes. Hilton, who's just come on, has picked up a bit of a knock, so I'm not going to risk that. Tyrese Francois, our kind of player of last season, well, apart from Tyrese Sinclair, he's come on, and I've made him the advanced playmaker. Corness is now playing a Mazzala role, and we've also brought on Rodney for Oscar Kelly on that left-hand side. And we're back into the game now. 85 minutes coming up. There's about 10 minutes of the game left. And it looks maybe like it's going to pan out to a boring 0-0. Corness, though, with a corner. And the ball is headed out to Shering. Tavares shoots, and it hits the back of somebody's head. Corness now. We've got Exeter pinned down in their penalty area. Corness to Bolongo. Bolongo to Tavares. Is he going to have a run at them? Yes, he is. He's going down that left-hand side. Lovely little ball into Rodney. And Tyrese Sinclair. Could that be the winner? 90 minutes on the clock. And that is an absolutely brilliant strike there. And a lovely bit of movement. So Corness there to Bolongo. Bolongo to Tavares. And Tavares there just slides the ball inside. Rodney's just come on. Slides the ball across to Sinclair. We're 1-0 up. And we have 4 minutes of time added on. But unfortunately, we do get another highlight. So it's a highlight for Exeter now. Are they going to get a goal here? No, they're not going to get a goal to ruin our day. Couple of minutes of time added on. Can we actually get a win away at Exeter? That is a very, very nice win. I made a lot of changes, a lot of tactical changes in that game. I moved things around an awful lot, and the players that came on actually proved to be very, very decisive. And of course, you get the usual standard. It would be nice, wouldn't it, if there were a lot more, options here. But I'm very happy we got the result, despite not being at our best. That's what matters the most. It's a shame, really. I can't just say to the lads, you know what, lads, you played really, really well, and getting that goal right at the end, because we've got the 3 points. Does it really matter that much if you didn't play that well? The 3 points is all that matters. You ask a lot of the big clubs around the world, they will tell you that the 3 points is what matters. It wins you trophies, it wins you leagues. Yeah, sometimes I wish there were more options in there. And there's not really much of a point of showing the league table because quite a few teams have not played, but that does move us up to 9th with 9 points. So not too shabby. Well, not a bad little episode there. Lots of information to take in, but we are in Sky Bet League One now, and if we can continue this form, I think we should consolidate ourselves in there and then move into another transfer window next summer with maybe slightly better budgets. I don't know, but seeing as it was a dedication episode, this a 1-0 win at the end, very, very fitting. Keep on supporting those mighty Blues, Ian. We'll see you next time for more from me, the Gobby Gaffer.